All right, we're gonna switch gears to plus size travel influencer. A plus size travel influencer is upset with airport employees after she walked up the longest jet bridge she'd ever encountered at Seatic Airport after an employee refused to push her in a wheelchair because of her weight. Jalen Chaney claims an airport employee walked away with her wheelchair and made comments about her weight after realizing she would be helping a plus size woman instead of a smaller passenger. Even when I told her I really needed the chair and needed her to let me sit down in it, she blatantly ignored me and kept walking. I was then forced to walk up one of the longest jet bridges I've encountered, and she didn't stop. Chaney claims that by the time she was able to sit down in the wheelchair, her lips were white. Her oxygen levels had dropped, causing her to almost faint.
Come
Discrimination is
on.
real. How would she know that her lips were white? Discrimination is real, and I don't want anybody else to ever experience something like this. Ooh,
Come
that's
on. Come
I mean,
on.
what influencer is going to have that experience and not videotape it?
My ordeal at SeaTac Airport will shock you. This experience I'm about to share with you is yet another example of why employee sensitivity training, a demand outlined in the plus-size travel petition, is desperately needed. I'm a plus-size wheelchair user, and on a recent flight to the SeaTac Airport, I requested wheelchair assistance, as I always do. When it came time for me to deplane,
Ugh.
I saw the employee who would be assisting me with my wheelchair waiting for me in the entry of the jet bridge. As I approached her and she realized she'd be assisting me and not one of the smaller passengers, she started to walk away with the wheelchair while making comments about my size. Even when I told her I really needed the chair and needed her to let me sit down in it, she blatantly ignored me and kept walking. I was then forced to walk up one of the longest jet bridges I've encountered, and she didn't stop. By the time she let me reach the wheelchair and sit down, my lips were white. My oxygen levels had dropped and I almost fainted. This was
How does she know what her oxygen levels are?
I was literally saying, look at her lips. They're not white. And she's almost sitting down.
Also, what is she talking about the jet bridge? You mean when she's walking down this thing here?
It's like once they check you in, it's the hallway before you get onto the plane.
Right, but she didn't have to walk uphill. It wasn't a PJ. Probably wouldn't. It would probably, crash. She just walked.
And she's walking.
She was wheeled to the door. She just showed us she was wheeled to the door of the plane.
All right,
Didn't she?
It did look like she was being wheeled. It did.
Was my first time flying without oxygen. This woman just assumed I could walk and would rather me do that, instead of her having to push someone my size up the jet bridge. All the other attendants wheeled their passengers up the jet bridge, but my needs were disregarded. This is discrimination. Nobody should be treated this way. Share your story at change.org.
Look, she's taking up half of the other seat.
She was going to disable the lady if she had to push her up there, so that lady would have become disabled.
It's not even up; it's just flat. If that's what we're talking about, and it looked like she was wheeled that way.
Yeah,
my ordeal at SeaTac Airport.
Oh yeah, is she being wheeled here?
Will shock you.
She's wheeling herself, maybe.
She's wheeling herself.
No, she must be getting wheeled.
She is.
She's being wheeled right here.
She's not doing it. That's that's what I was saying. Like nothing that she said is true. She hasn't proved any of it.
Here's the thing. It doesn't. This is where she went wrong. I get a wheelchair every time I travel. Okay, and the first thing I do before I sit in that seat is I hand the person who's going to push me $20, and that gives me excellent service. If she would have handed that lady $20, she would definitely have pushed her fat ass up there, and she would have done it. But you can't. You have to compensate these people, okay?
And every time, nothing is true that she's saying, except for maybe she has one of those little ox meters, like for her finger. But I don't see it. You would think she would go, "Oh, here, look at my ox level. It's really low." Like she's not doing any of it.
I think there's a difference between someone like Lila, who is actually disabled, and this chick who made herself disabled by not being able to shut her fucking pie hole.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if she would have handed that girl $20 and just said, "Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate you doing this," she would have done it. But she'd rather make a video and play a victim than
and
compensate
who's following her with this camera? She looks pretty happy. Her lips aren't white.
No, and look, she's in the second to last row of this plane.
I'm telling you, tipping people is the way. Here's what I used to do. I used to tip after they got me to my destination, and then I was like, wait, I need a tip beforehand, because then I get like the perks of them being a little bit money talks.
Yes,
okay.
You must
Money
tip.
freaking talks. And sometimes if I'm really feeling like I'm balling and I'm like, I just feel good, I'll give them $20. And then one time it was this man, he was like from a different country. He was talking about his like family. I had him push me around. I bought him a coffee and then I gave him another $20. I was like, I just feel
Wow.
rich today. And that guy was like thanking me. He wanted a picture with me. He followed me on Instagram. He was like liking all my stuff. I was like, see, I'm paying for a fan right now. And I like
It's
it.
worth every penny.
It is.
But it's worth it. It's like in the grand scheme of things, how much you spend on travel. What is $20 to tip somebody who's going to take? You know what I mean? It's worth it.
It's
Money
like taking
talks,
the-
and people want to feel appreciated. You know, it's like
Mhm.
100%.
anytime I'm at a restaurant, I'll do the same thing. Like I'll over tip because I'm like, I'm gonna come here a lot, and I want these waiters to fight for me. And they'll literally be
Mhm.
like, "Oh, next time you come in, ask for me." They'll give me like free like cake or an extra like to go
Mhm.
soda.
Yeah.
And I like that. That's why I really want to make it big. I cannot wait till they actually just like hand $100 bill. Like it's just like $1, you know?
Ooh.
And I'll
Here's
get
the-
Yes.
this.
I want to do that too. It's fun to tip people.
Yes.
Exactly. I would do the same. I just wonder about this woman, and she obviously had someone like recording
And
her
who's
for this
filming
video.
her?
Yeah.
Couldn't that fucking person push her wheelchair?
And if you're that size, number one, you got to buy 2 seats on the plane. I mean, unequivocally, you do. You have to. Seatbelt extender and all that.
Oh yeah.
She was the first one on, and if you're that size, you buy a window seat in the back of the plane.
If you're
I'm
that
not
size,
claiming-
you
I'm
go
not-
down in
I- yeah.
steerage with the chickens.
Yes,
We wanna
no.
see you.
The body positivity movement, it was not made for fat people, okay? It was made for people with disabilities who have missing limbs or like burn victims. If you're telling me if I walked on a treadmill for 20 minutes a day, my back would straighten out and I would no longer have spina bifida and scoliosis, you best believe I'd be on a walking treadmill right now. Okay? That's what I would be doing. So a lot of these people, they want to play the victim when it's like you literally could just start eating better. You could just start walking, and people love a weight loss transformation journey. Okay. We don't want to see your fat ass complaining about the fact that you were about to injure this lady. If that lady would have pushed your fat ass up there, she would end up disabled. That's what would happen. And now you both need a wheelchair, and we're just hurting people.
I love how Lila's completely exempt from this. No one can criticize it.
But it's true, and like
No, it's true.
People when they say, "Oh, the body positivity movement is bad," and it's like, no, there are parts of it that was really great. Like I was at Target the other day, and I saw an advertisement for like the children's clothes because that's where I shop, and there was a little girl in a wheelchair modeling the clothes, and then there was one little girl with like a missing leg, and she had like a little like fake thing on there.
Target's up on that. They really have the
And
mannequins for everyone.
And I loved that. And I was like, this is body positivity. If I was, 11 and, as all my friends were getting taller and I fucking was staying the same size, I would have loved to see that. It would have made me feel more included. So I think that's a beautiful thing. But when you're throwing up these fat ass obese models up there and calling that Victoria's Secret, it's like nobody wants that. Nobody wants to fuck a whale. I'm sorry. And you can't convince me that that's what they want. They don't want that. Bring back the Victoria's Secret angels. You know what? I think Ozempic is great. Bring back the thigh gap. Okay? Skinny is in. It is my time to shine. I'm 75 pounds and I love it.
Oh, Ozempic. You know, you didn't feel that Ozempic. You know, injected into your fat ass. As long as people have diabetic medicines, that's fine. Ozempic,
for
I'm
real,
here
you
for it.
will have forever diarrhea from Ozempic. Maybe talk to your doctor if forever diarrhea is right for you. Maybe it's worth it.
Maybe it's Maybelline. No, I think body positivity, that's fine. It became too much when people are calling, like Tyra Banks had to be a Victoria's Secret model because she was too fat, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane, right?
Times have changed.
Right. A little thicker, fine. That woman is obviously unhealthy and like that's too much. A little bigger, fine. That's body positivity. I'm all here for it.
I don't know. You know, I think that too. It's like people are like, oh, we're living in horrible times. I'm like, these times are great. Are you kidding me? I remember when I was in the 10th grade, this girl sent a nude picture. It was a grainy, like green picture of like her vagina, and it got spread everywhere. Everybody was like, oh my God, she's a whore. And she ended up dropping out of school because it was this grainy ass green. It was like in night vision or something. Okay. And it spread. And now you can sell your pussy online for $2.99 and no one bats an eye. That's wonderful, you know, because people aren't, I think it's great.
I know.
Love you guys. Thank you for the chats. Thank you for the comments. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Bye. All right. Love you guys. God, I don't even want to leave. This candle smells so good. I don't want to leave. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye. Love you all. Join the Discord. Feet. Love you all. Wow. You guys are awesome. Bye, guys. Bye. Now I'm really leaving. Love you. Bye.